Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. So the huge, long-awaited release of the free points for 40k has finally arrived with a fairly substantial number of changes, buffs and nerfs for most of the factions in the game. And in this video, I wanted to take a look at one of my main factions who have been struggling rather badly lately and who have had some decent, although if I'm being honest, not mind-blowing points changes with this release, and that is of course the green tide of the Orks. So let's dive right in, and straight off the bat, most of your regular infantry sized models have had a drop of about 1 point per model. This includes things like Ork boys, the Snagger boys, Burner boys, commandos, looters, tank busters, even the miserable little grots are all dropping by a point. So that now means 11 points down to 10 for burners, beast snaggers, storm boys, 15 points down to 14 for looters, 9 points down to 8 for the classic boys, and of course 4-point grots now. So you can get a few more models in your army, although I will be honest, it's not a huge change, and I don't think it's enough to bring boys spam or the green tide really back to the table. I mean, it's certainly a nice way to save a good 30 to 60 points in your list depending on how many infantry size models you're running, so that could get you, maybe a dreadnought if you go really heavy on the boys, or just like a knob on smasher squig, something like that. So it does probably get you an extra unit, but if you are running minimum 10-man squad sizes like Orks tend to do at the moment, it's really not going to make a huge difference in your list. And I think the main reason it's not enough is because Orks still definitely have their issues, and durability and morale are their main ones. So even though you are lowering the points, that means you can bring more boys, but they are still going to suffer and just be shot off the board and run away way too easily. What they really need to fix the green tide is to give it some of the old morale protection that it had with mob rule, and which they really don't have anymore, which is why you see the minimum 10-man squads so often. Elsewhere for the Orks, there are some points which have been reverted from a previous change. Things like the squig buggies have now dropped back down to 95 points from 110. The beast boss on Squigosaur drops 15 from 175 to 160, and the kill rig goes back to its old 190 points instead of the 210 that it was changed to, so another decent 20-point drop there. These particular changes are, I think, a lot more impactful for the list. I thought the Squig Boss was still pretty okay at 175 points, so that drop just makes him even better in my opinion. Likewise, the kill rig was really good at 190. It was a bit too expensive at 210, but it wasn't completely unplayable, so dropping that back down to 190 brings you another really solid, tough, good unit back into a reasonable price point. The Squig Buggy, while that used to be sort of like the scary boogeyman of games everywhere, has been nerfed so many times over balanced data slates and everything that even the drop back to 95 points to me just doesn't really do enough. The indirect fire nerf really does hurt it and makes it so that even at that 95 point price tag, you're probably not going to be getting the most value out of taking it compared to something else. So I still don't think you will see many squig buggies even with this points drop. And I also think it's a bit weird that all the other buggies didn't get touched, because they are all, apart from maybe the scrapjet, they're all a little bit overpriced now compared to some of the other stuff we're seeing in the game. I do think these changes will make a noticeable difference in terms of what you see, if ever so slightly. For me, I normally bring a very beast snagger heavy list, so I would bring a squig boss, a kill rig, and probably 3 squads of beast snagger boys. So for me, that alone is going to have dropped 65 odd points, which basically nets me my knob on smasher squig for free. So it will make a visual difference in your list, but it's not going to be a huge one, and competitively I still don't think it's enough to bring Orks back to the top tables. I think there are some fundamental gameplay and profile and mechanic changes that need to come to bring the Orks back into competitiveness. If it's a casual game though, I think these changes are very good, they are very well deserved, and they will help you to have a bit more on the table and just be able to have a bit more fun with your green boys. It's also worth noting there is a new balanced data slate coming tomorrow, they announced. I am expecting some changes for the Orks, but probably not many. One I'm hoping for is that buggies get a change to allow them to split up after deployment, because that for me would immediately fix a lot of their issues. I still don't mind them being a maximum of one, unit, one squad of each when you build your army, but being able to split them up like dreadnoughts would just make them so much more versatile and so much more worthwhile to bring. So I really do hope we see that. Whether we see anything else, I'm not sure, but I think just on these points alone, if nothing else changes, it's a decent little boost, but it's not really enough to bring the Orks up from the casual fun level where they are now. But what do you think of these points changes? And do you think they are enough to bring the Orks back to competitiveness, or are there still a lot more changes needed? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me. But until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.